Jesse P. Gilmore, founder of Niche in Control and creator of Leverage for Growth. Today on this live stream, I've gotten to a point where I've been writing the Leverage for Growth book at the same exact time as launching the Leverage for Growth podcast. And I'm at a point where in the book, I have 43,000 words written and but it's just like the first draft. And what I want to do with you over the next 10 or 15 minutes or so is just actually just start going through some of the parts of the book. It allows me to understand kind of a little bit more about what needs to be changed and kind of how it flows and things like that. At the same exact time, it's really geared towards giving value and getting you to really understand what's going on when it comes to mindset, which is going to be the focus of today. And so what I'm going to do is just start reading parts of this. If you get some value out of this, just let me know in the comments. But I'm going to go through this and really, before getting into kind of like leverage for growth and before getting into kind of the reading, I want you to know leverage for growth is really geared towards helping agency owners to effectively scale from 6 to 7 figures. And a lot of times, what I've found working with over 4 dozen marketing agency owners, both one on one and also in our Alliance Mastermind, is really that the the whole like challenge when it comes to growth is actually not based around needing new knowledge. A lot of times it's actually just based around an understanding of perception and paradigms and some different things that are not necessarily as easy to explain. And so in this section of the book, I kind of go through my backstory and then leading up towards one of the first kind of big kind of secrets, I guess, when it comes to growth is actually based around how you view your business and then how you view your life in general. And so this section is really geared towards kind of breaking some of those limiting beliefs. And so here we go. So before we get into leverage for growth and diving into the 5-step process, the number one thing that we need to do is really to set a foundation. Very similar to how skyscrapers, when they're being built, have massive amounts of time focused on the foundation. A good percentage of it, maybe even 40%, is geared towards making sure that you have a strong foundation. We need to make sure that we're building from a place of strength, power, and consistency. And we must start with the number one thing that will get in your way of achieving whatever you want to achieve. And this is your mindset. Now, all of our Leverage for Growth clients end up having the question of how being answered. How do I grow my business? How do I step up as a leader within my business and then to the market? How do I find the right people for my agency? How do I duplicate myself without my clients dealing with a poor product or reduced quality? Now, all of these questions of how get answered. They'll be answered throughout the entire book, and they're answered in more depth programs such as our course called Accelerator or our mastermind called Alliance, where we dive into the answers of these questions in a lot more depth, and then we'll include in the book. But the question of how is answered, and it's replaced with how big can you actually dream? Is there a way of creating a mindset that's limitless and continues to expand and continues to grow and create a life and a business by design? So, how do we do this? That is what we're going to be covering in this section of the book. We are going to create a limitless mindset where you have no limits on how big you can dream, what you can create for yourself, and the impact that you can make on the world. And to truly get to the removal of limiting beliefs, that may have held you back in the past, but will not hold you back going forward. So, why is this important to start with mindset? Mindset is the way that you view the world. Mindset is a combination of different mental models that you've picked up along the way. Some of them have been based around circumstance, and others have been by design. Now, there is a series of limiting beliefs that we are designed and taught and educated to accept as reality. When in actuality, as you'll see throughout this section, we are learning that mindset and who we can become is actually based around intention, attention, integrity, and action. And we'll talk about mental feedback loops and how to build yourself up, how to view your mindset as a system that can be molded based around what you want, and the removal of limiting stories and beliefs that you picked up along the way, so that you can systematically become the entrepreneur that you were called to be. Now, mindset is one of those topics that is talked about a lot, but very few people truly understand what it means because they have not unlocked it for themselves, or they read it in a book and didn't really live it. Now, there is a process that I'm going to walk through as we go through this section about creating this kind of like abundance mindset, and the limitless mind that's going to get you to think differently. So, before I get into this whole thing, I want you to open up to the idea that your life can be created by design, and any limiting belief stories that you tell yourself or different ways that you view life right now can be changed, and that you can be able to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. Now, with that dream, along with the process that follows in the Leverage for Growth book and the programs, you are able to achieve what once was thought impossible to you is really just another day. So let's get started. When I was first introduced to mindset by one of my coaches and mentors, he had talked about how our mindset is created, by a series of mental models that create what's called a lattice framework. The lattice framework is basically your perception or your lens at which you view the world, and it is a way of viewing the things that happen to you. The question of, are they happening to you or are they happening for you, is the question. And so, as I continued on this path of learning about mindset, I understood a lot more about the psychology of people and what makes people think a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way. And my study of psychology started a long, long time ago during a very rough part of my childhood. I spent many years in therapy, and during this time, I understood the power of questions and someone to talk to, and understanding the barriers of power and being transparent and authentic and sharing how I was feeling or thinking. And this led me to a desire to get a degree in psychology right after high school. My love for psychology and the way that people think has been expressed in many different ways throughout my life. But I've always been fascinated by mental models and people's perceptions of what's happening in the world. And so, throughout many years of both learning psychology and learning about mindset, and more recently, there are a series of things that I've learned over the last 2.5 decades. And my goal with this section is to share with you the things that I've learned to kind of shortcut that learning for you. So, again, as I look back on, what Leverage for Growth really is, it's kind of as though if I'm just teaching my younger or earlier self, or someone who is in a similar spot as I was. And the question is what would I tell them? What would they need to know and understand in order for them to embrace this limitless mindset? And through the process of working with clients in a very intimate experience with one-on-one coaching, I have learned that there is a series of steps needed in order for that person to achieve a limitless mindset. Every one of my one-on-one clients came into the coaching experience with a series of limiting beliefs. They had a desire for growing a business, but they didn't necessarily know how to get there, or who they would need to become, or how to become that person if they knew, who they needed to become. Now, through thousands of hours working one on one with clients and attacking these limiting beliefs session after session, I've created this framework for you, whether it's the mindset that needs to be changed in order for you to, change your actions, or your business, or, switch from kind of being that subject matter expert in your business to really being a true business owner where the business can sustain and grow without you. There are certain stories, perceptions, mindsets, and paradigms that need to shift. Sometimes it's a complete identity shift where you need to become somebody completely different. Other times it's like a 1 degree shift that makes all the difference throughout this process. What we're going to find out is what that actually means for you. So, this is how it's going to work. We're going to go through a series of mental models to allow your brain and your mind to have a container by which we can put the right mindsets, paradigms, and perspectives inside, and then set up multiple ways for you to reinforce this new version of yourself that's emerging. So that is the beginning of the mindset section of the Leverage for Growth book. We are in the process of kind of creating the first drafts of this and getting it to where We understand the flow. And so if you're open to learning more about the Leverage for Growth book when it comes out, the first people that will know will be based around those that are on our newsletter. So you can go to nicheincontrol.com/newsletter and be able to get more information about the book. And I will see you in the next live stream.
Jesse's program is a personal trainer for your business, for your agency business. So if you're trying to start your own marketing agency, you need a trainer. You need a trainer, you need a plan, you need goals so that you can thrive. Get out of your own way and let someone help you to grow your business and scale it quickly and stop trying to do it yourself.
We're just continuing to scale and we're not freaking out.
Owning a business, especially a business that is doubling, is the best feeling in the world.
At Niche in Control, we unlock the potential within you and your agency. Through the development of you as a leader, you step forth to discover the potential you have always had. We help you with clarity of vision, strategy for coming from a place of competence, operational systems to develop consistent client results and retention, pricing and packaging to differentiate you from the rest of the market, and finding, developing, and managing the right team to support you in the realization of your vision. Stop playing small. Rise to your potential. Your time is now. Can you feel it?
I've gotten more time, more clarity, and more money.